Greetings. I'm the GM and Director of Player Personnel for the Rockets. In addition to the 14th pick, we also have the 23rd pick in the upcoming draft and are looking at you with one of those picks. We'd like to get to know you better by asking you a couple of questions. Let's get to it. As a younger team, I feel like we have a lot of opportunities for you. I'm here to tell you you have a chance to be our franchise centerpiece if you put in the work. How many other teams can offer you that? That being said, we still have a couple years ahead of us where we're going to be acquiring young talent and assets. We might struggle a bit in those years. Are you going to be able to remain focused during the rebuilding years?
Yes, but with a caveat. If the direction of the team keeps changing towards becoming a contending team, I'll be happy being a part of the rebuilding process. If I start to feel like decisions are being made because of money instead of talent, chances are I'm going to start becoming unhappy real quick.
Okay, last question. What do you think you'll bring to a franchise as far as marketability?
I think that's really for you guys to decide. What I'd bring to your franchise is my basketball skills and a winning attitude. Anything beyond that, that's really for your team to sort out. I like to stay focused solely on the game.
Okay then, I think we got what we needed. Appreciate you taking the time to meet with us.
Nice job out there tonight. Your play really impressed us, so much so that we're considering using our pick on you if you're available when our turn comes up. Before we get that far, we'd really like to ask you a couple of questions. Question number 1. As a point guard, we really feel like we can offer you something amazing, something no other team in the NBA can offer. With Steve Nash's career winding down, you have the chance to play behind and learn from one of the greatest point guards to ever put on a uniform. Once Steve decides to hang it up and you've learned everything you can from him, the starting point guard spot is yours. How can you say no to that?
I don't think you can. Steve Nash is class. He's a legend. He's, like you said, one of the greatest point guards that's ever lived. I can learn a lot from him. It would really advance my career watching him do his thing. I'm not growing my hair out though, man.
All right then, one more. As a whole, the Suns have kept the same core for the better part of a decade. We found a winning formula and stuck by it, just rotating in supporting pieces where necessary. As I'm sure you've seen over the last year or so, we're in the midst of overhauling our roster. We really love the idea of you being a part of that process. What do you think about being a centerpiece for the new Phoenix Suns?
That's a tough decision. On one hand, this is the in-between period where there are going to be some hard times. On the other hand, there is a light at the end of the tunnel where the talent all comes together and good things happen. The question is, do I want to spend the first part of my career on a struggling team? I don't know the answer to that.
Some interesting answers. Thanks again for your time.
Greetings. I'm the GM and Director of Player Personnel for the Pacers. We have the 15th pick in the draft, and we're looking at potentially using this pick on you. First, though, we would like to get to know you better by asking you a couple of questions. Let's get to it. We feel like we already have good point guard depth on our roster in Darren Collison and George Hill. Where would you see yourself fitting in with those guys?
Oh, playing alongside those guys would be great. I really think we'd be a force to be reckoned with once we learned each other's tendencies. Obviously, I feel like I have a much higher ceiling than those guys, but I think you know that as well as me, and you know that's why you chose to interview me. But I want to take this team to the next level.
Next question. We realize that here in Indianapolis, we don't have the appeal of some of the big market teams. We tend to look for players who would be proud to be part of this organization, someone who can really take pride in being a member of the Indiana Pacers. We need someone who's willing to spend their entire career as a member of this team. Is that someone you?
Yes, sir. I'd be honored to be a member of this organization. From everything I've seen, you guys have a rabid fan base. I'd love to be a leader on this team for the next decade or more.
Thanks so much for your time. I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but we would be ecstatic if you're still on board when it's our turn to pick.
Good evening and welcome to the 2011 NBA Draft. Tonight we celebrate a new class of basketball talent that has made its way to the NBA. Their dedication and hard work and that of their families has paid off, and this moment is the next step in their promising young careers. It is also a time of extraordinary optimism and hope for the fans of our teams as they look for yet additional great players to make their teams better. The selections that are made tonight will be viewed by millions of NBA fans around the world in more than 200 countries as they make their way to become NBA players. Everyone is ready, so let's get started. With the first pick in the 2011 NBA Draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Doug Martin from the University of Michigan. With the second pick in the 2011 NBA Draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Cliff Davis from The Ohio State University. With the third pick in the 2011 NBA Draft, the Utah Jazz select Derek Gibson from the University of Tennessee. With the fourth pick in the 2011 NBA Draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Larry Douglas from the University of Florida. 2011 NBA Draft, the Toronto Raptors select Nick Brown from Boston College. 15th pick in the 2011 NBA Draft, the Indiana Pacers select the point guard from the University of Miami.
Right back, driven off the light rack. My adrenaline is with a got them listening and they responses with the hyper tracks. Made believers out of ignorance, and I can recall us as being what they obviously wanted but probably lost us. Used to hide the trophies, but there's too many to keep us straight. Now I let the streamers hang, if that'll help you see the way. The 23rd letters accumulate for you to say that I can